Hello, crime fighters. I'm Ray, the DA, and this is Straight Talk, along with sidekick Amber Freeman, who is the brains of the operation, as most people think. Our guest today is Lieutenant Albert Johnson, who is in charge of the Personal Crime Section with the Police Department. What all do you deal with as the head of that the Personal Crime Section?
The Personal Crime Section encompasses robberies, homicides, assaults, anything that's directed towards a person as a personal injury. We pretty much cover anything in that area.
What are the shootings? We've seen a lot of gunshots fired reports in Lexington. First of all, how many homicides have we had this year?
To date this year we've had 28, and 28 is the most that Lexington has recorded since we started going back, and I think 1974 is how far my records go back.
You know, it was 1986 when I was in office that the Sunshine Sisters, LaFonda Faye Foster and Tina Hickey Powell, killed 5 people in one night, and that shot it up to 26. So this has beaten my record. Yeah. What about shootings?
Shootings, we are at the last count I had was 92, and I think last year, all of last year in 2016, we had 75. And so we have surpassed that number with still, about a month and a half left in the year. So,
you mentioned shootings. Are there other forms of homicides taking place in Lexington this year?
There are. I think most people equate homicides with handguns, and that is the most prevalent way that I think most homicides are committed. However, there are a lot of different ways that people can cause another person's death. And you know, this year we have seen homicides that have been committed with baseball bats, tools such as hammers. We've seen strangulations. So there's a wide variety of ways that that people have been killed during this past year.
Let's talk a little bit about solving these crimes. What difficulties do you as a police force face in finding out who's responsible for killing these people?
I think the common denominator with a lot of police agencies is cooperation within the community. We have a culture now that more so than even in my career. I've been here 21 years, and I think in my 21 years it's probably been the most difficult as far as gaining cooperation from particular areas where crime seems to be more prevalent. There's probably a lot of reasons that occurs. We have a culture now that I think one of the common terminologies is snitching. And when I came on, snitching was what you would do to get yourself out of trouble. And now the definition of snitching has become just simply talking to the police is snitching.
So are you having trouble even getting victims to talk to you?
We do, and you wouldn't think so, but we actually have victims that we go and talk to in the hospital that won't talk to us, and they'll ask for an attorney.
Really?
And
victims asking for a lawyer?
Yes, sir. The victims ask for attorneys. Mostly because of the activities that they're involved in at the time of their shooting were probably criminal, and they were probably participating in nefarious activities that they shouldn't have been involved with. And most of the shootings that we have, probably a large number, I would say 99%. If I were to
Albert, over the years, the Lexington Homicide Unit has had clearance rates of 100% to 99, 98%, and in some places like Detroit, the clearance rate, meaning an arrest is made, is 10%.
That's right.
That means 9 out of 10 people get away with murder in Detroit.
That's correct.
Now, how do you overcome this reluctance or the reluctance to cooperate with police in trying to solve these things, because you guys still have a good clearance rate?
It's difficult. We try as an agency to place people in the community. We have community resource officers or neighborhood resource officers. We have placed officers back in the school system. That way it gives kids an opportunity to have a face and to see a police officer in a different role.
Sure.
And oftentimes, some of the children, their only encounter with the police, it may be when someone's taking their mother or father and arresting them, and so it's a negative encounter. So we're making efforts to get into the communities and to go into the schools.
Well, we got to wrap this up. I just got the signal to shut up, Ray. I've been told that before by my pal Amber here, so.
Not so true.
See you next time, crime fighters.
The opinions expressed in this segment are not necessarily those of the management and staff of ABC 36.